Dear student, welcome once again for the lesson inverse trigonometrical function. But before starting the inverse trigonometrical function, I will explain some steps related with the inverse of the function. Actually, that is also important, so that I will discuss the steps so that you will be familiar with the inverse of the function, because I will discuss it in the inverse trigonometrical function. That is why I feel that it is essential to know. And I am discussing the very important concepts, definitions and formulas related with the different topics. My dear student, you like my videos and subscribe my channel so that I shall be motivated by you, and I will provide you in future as well the important lessons, important questions, not only to appear in the CBSE examination, for your competitive examination as well. That is why, see, I am taking the example which earlier I discussed with you. For inverse function, I am taking the function from x to y. And x, let me take some elements in x. This is x and this is y. Let me take the function, because you will form the images 1, 2, 3, A, B and C. 1 that is associated with A, 2 that is associated with B and 3 associated with C. See carefully, then what will be the function? Function that is 1 forming the image with A in Y. That is why 1 is related to A. 1 is related to A. 2 is related to B. And 3 is related with C. That is the function. But whenever the question arises for inverse of the function, here you see I explain in detail that the element of x comes for domain and the elements of y comes for codomain as well as range. That is why domain for this function, what will be the domain? Domain of f is equal to, that is 1, 2, 3. And codomain, I am just going to write over here, codomain of f, that will be equal to A, B and C. While we will take the inverse of the function, that is, you see the direction of this function in the right. We will take this direction from x to y. This is y. And we will take the direction from y to x. That is why it is inverse of the function. Now, inverse of the function you can write from y to x. Okay? Forming the image, A forming the image with 1, B forming the image with 2, C forming the image with 3. That is why you see F inverse will be equal to you see C is related with automatically domain and range will be changed. Domain and range will be changed. That is, domain, this is codomain as well as range. This is codomain, and codomain you see, because each element of y forming the image with some element of x. That is why range will also be equal to codomain. That is range. Range is also will be the same. That is why you see domain and range will be changed. Here you see domain is this one, 1, 2, 3. Range is this one, ABC. Here image with 1, B forming the image with 2, and C forming the image with 3. Now the domain and range will be changed for this one. This is F inverse. Inverse of the function. Domain, what will be domain? In this case, domain of F will be A, B, C. For inverse of the function, as range and codomain, range will be range of F will be equal to 1, 2. This will be range and codomain. Similar kind of thing I will discuss just to explain the concept of inverse of in the inverse trigonometrical function. Similar kind of thing. Domain range will be changed while you will write the inverse of the function. That is why, my dear student, this thing it is most essential to understand the inverse of the function, because it is important to know the inverse of the function. That is why see carefully. I think you understand, because same thing I explained already. Just my objective to tell you this function as well as inverse of the function, so that you will understand. And always you must have to keep in mind, inverse of the function always will be the bijective function, because you see there is no element in y which do not have the image with some element with what? X. That is why it is a bijective function, because if you want to form the image, though in the domain you can take ABC, and in the codomain or range you can take 1, 2, 3 inverse of the function separately. Means if you want to draw the image of this one F inverse separately, you can draw. Otherwise, one figure, one diagram is more than sufficient to understand. I think you understand function as well as inverse of the function. Okay, let me take now the inverse trigonometrical function, which is very important topic. Inverse trigonometrical function I am going to take now, because students generally feel the difficulties to know the concept or to understand, to find out the solution of the question. My dear student, I used to say, you try to understand first of all the formula, definition, try to understand the concept, then after you find out the solution of the question. Solve the simple question and depend upon formula as well as definition. Then if you solve the simple question, go to difficult. Same thing I will explain over here. Go to difficult question, break the difficult into simple, and simple already you solve. That is why you can solve the difficult question. And I will take the important question which generally asked in the competitive examination as well as in the CBSE examination also. Inverse trigonometric function. Inverse trigonometric functions. My dear students, first of all you must understand the graph of sine as well as the principal value branches or principal branches. Let me explain. First of all, I will draw the graph of sine. Graph of sine. Fx will be, suppose, sine or sin x, or y is equal to sin x. Let me draw the graph of it first of all, and try to understand, because it is very important thing to understand the concept of it. Otherwise, if directly you will learn by heart the formula and you will try to find out the solution of the question, it will be difficult. This is origin, and you can draw the graph of the sine. I will take the range for this graph in case of sine, that is -1 to 1, and its domain. Here student, try to understand, domain will be the real number, set of real numbers you will take in the domain. Domain we will take actually for the psi function. Domain will be the set of real numbers and codomain or range will be from -1 to 1. This is for this function. Try to understand. Same thing I have taken range from -1 to 1. That is why several times in the several questions I used to explain regarding the domain, codomain as well as range. The same thing I am going to take over here. That is pi by 2. Pi by 2 is up to here. Try to understand it because it is very important and frequently you will have to do 3 pi by 2 and pi 2 pi. Let me take some more values in the left side of x-axis. X-axis, this is y-axis, and this will be minus pi by 2, minus pi by 2, and this is minus pi, and this will be minus 3 pi by 2, and this will be minus 2 pi. I think these intervals will be more than sufficient to understand. Okay, because you see, I have taken range from -1 to 1, and domain that is real number. Domain that is the set of real number. Domain is, I am just going to write over here, domain. Domain for this function, sin x. Domain is set of real numbers. Set of real numbers. Try to understand. As I told you, this topic I am telling not only for the CBSE examination. You will get success in the if the question comes from this topic in the CBSE examination, but that is important for your competitive examination as well as for other examinations. That is why try to understand. Real number, set of real number, set of real numbers. Different real numbers we will take. The intervals for this case. What are the intervals? Intervals from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Minus 3 pi by 2 to minus pi by 2. Intervals. What are the intervals? See. Intervals. But thing is that because similar kind of intervals we will write for the inverse of the function. This is the graph for y is equal to sin x. Because we will take the inverse, and as I told you just before, while you take the inverse of the function, then automatically the domain and range will be interchanged, and the shape of the graph will also be changed. Direction will be changed. That is why you see, and we will domain. I told you that is set of real number. That is the domain. And what will be the intervals? Minus pi by 2, pi by 2, pi by 2 to pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2, and so on. As many as intervals you want to take, you can take up to infinite. But here we restrict the interval to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Otherwise it will be very difficult. What interval we shall take, at what will be the interval just to get the solution of the question. For all the intervals it will be very difficult to find out the solution of the question. That is why our mathematician restrict the interval to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Okay, let me draw a graph for inverse of the function. In the inverse of the function, see the same thing I am going to take. That is why see carefully, try to understand. Same graph I am taking for inverse of the function. That will be sin inverse y is equal to x, suppose. I am going to draw the graph for inverse of the function. Dear student, you see, because both the graph is very difficult to draw due to the less space. See this one, and this is the origin. I am taking like this. This is y x-axis, and here also you can take like that. Origin pi by 2, pi 3 pi by 2, Here also you can take, but you see -1 to 1. Our domain will be -1 to 1. As I told you, here domain is set of the real numbers. Codomain will be this one, range will be this one. But here, range, whenever you will take the inverse of the function, we are taking the graph of inverse of the function, sin x. That is why you see this one internal, here also you take -5/2, and this will be -5, and here will be 3/2. What will be the for the inverse of the function? As I told you, domain and range will be changed. For the inverse of the function, you see what will be the range? Range will be -1, domain will be -1 to 1, and range will be -5/2 to 5. You see that -5/5 will be the range, sin inverse, and writing here. Or you can take, if you do not want, that is f1. I told you the domain and range will be changed. And you see this one, range, that is the set of real numbers. But as I told you, we shall restrict over here the range from -5/2 to 5, so that you can find out the solution of the question. And my dear student, this is known as the principal branch. Principal branch, because it is must to know what is the principal branch. Principal branch, that is why I am just going to draw the table for this one, and you must have to keep in mind this one. In case of sine inverse, I have discussed, I told you in detail, the principal branches, means range in different inverse trigonometrical function. Similarly, as I have explained the range for sine inverse function, similarly you can see in the same way for cos inverse, for cosec inverse, for cot inverse, for tan inverse, and for cot inverse. Okay, let me take the table, which is most essential to legal mind. My dear student, this table, without this table you cannot find out the solution of the question. As I told you that, you see, principal, I am just going to draw the table for different trigonometrical. See, first of all, sine inverse function. Sine inverse function. In case of sine inverse, I told you its domain is -1 to 1, but its range will be from π/2 to π/2, which is the principal branch in case of sine. Similarly for cos inverse, same thing you will take -1 to 1, and the range in case of cos will also be same. Similarly you can take for cosec inverse, sec inverse, and tan inverse, and cot inverse. You must have to write the value, because table is given. This table you must have to keep in mind, which is very important to know before starting to find out the solution of the questions. That is why this table is required. This is domain and this will be range. Here, let me take some questions from the book. I am just going to select the question from NCERT book, which several times has come or asked in the CBSE examination. Okay, let me take some questions which are very important for you, and so that you can find out the solution of the question. Question: find the principal value Second, that is cos inverse. I am taking the very important thing. Third, tan inverse. Tan inverse 1. After that, I will take the collective question related with this. That is why see carefully. That is student. First of all, solution. Very simple. See that first part I am taking just to find out the principal value for this function. Sin inverse minus 1 by 2 is equal to y. And sin y will be equal to minus 1 by 2. Minus 1 by 2. See carefully. Sin inverse, this we have assumed that is equal to y, and sin y will be equal to this. Now question arises. In class 11 you have studied, I am not going in the detail of it. If it will be required, I will take the detail of it also. Sin minus theta, it will be equal to minus sin. You must have to keep in mind. Similarly for other trigonometrical ratios also. Because here I am taking this one, that is my use. It will be minus. Okay, you must have to see the value for different angles. In case of sine, whose value is 1 by 2. That is, sine 30 degree is 1 by 2. Okay? 30 degree means in the pi form, you change it into the pi form. In the radian form. That is why it will be pi by. Because 30 degree is 6. And you can apply that one. It will be equal to sine minus pi by 6. Minus pi by 6. Because sin minus theta is equal to minus sin theta. See carefully, this is very important. In case of sin only, sin minus theta, it will be minus sin theta. Okay, y is equal to how much? Minus pi by 6. Because there is on both the sides, there is the same function. Same function means sin. Sin pi is equal to sin minus pi by 6. Okay, then y will be equal to this one. But you must have to see whether this principal value is correct or not. Y means it is the value of what? Y. Y means sin inverse x. Sin inverse minus 1 by 2. Whether it is correct or not. Because you must have to see the range which I told you in case of sin inverse. Principal value branch, that is the principal value branch. As I told you, we restrict the interval from minus pi by 2 to pi by in case of sin as well as in for cos. That is why you see minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Because still we are in confusion whether its value will be equal to minus pi by 2 or not, whether it is correct or not. As per the given principal value branches. Okay, that is why you see minus pi by 6 means 30 degree, and 30 degree automatically it will line minus 90 degree to 90. That is why it is correct. That is why you can write the answer, the principal value of sin inverse minus 1 by 2 which is equal to minus 1 is minus pi by 6. Very important thing, because frequently you will have to use it. Now similarly, you will take the second case. Second case also you take. Wherever it is sin, you change only for cos. Okay? Let me take in case of this one, similar kind of thing. And second case we are taking solution for the second case, find the principal value for this one, and cos y will be equal to minus 1 by 2. You think over it. Minus 1 by 2, because in case of cos, I am just going to remove this thing because it is not required now. As I told you, you must have to complete this table. Cos minus theta, it will be what? Pi minus. You have studied pi minus cos. Because it will not be pi minus cos theta. Why it is pi minus cos theta? In first quadrant, all trigonometrical ratios are positive. In the second quadrant, sine and cos are positive, rest will be negative. In third quadrant, tan and cot are positive, rest are negative. In the fourth quadrant, cos or sec positive, rest will be negative. That is why we take this value. You must have to see. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to find out the solution of the question. Okay, minus cos, because it is 1 by 2. In case of cos, 1 by 2 is the value of 60 degree. 60 means change it into radian form, pi upon 3. Pi by 3. 60 degree. And as I told you, you must have to do this. Because it is negative sign. And cos pi minus pi by 2. Pi minus pi by 2. Okay? You must have to check it. Pi minus pi by 3. Not pi by 2. Pi by 3. Pi by 3. Because cos 180 minus theta, that will be minus cos theta. Okay? This thing you must have to keep in mind. Dear students, and on both the sides, there is a cos symbol. What is its value? You take the LCM, that will be cos 2 pi by 3. 2 pi by 3. Okay, pi will be equal to 2 pi by 3. And belongs to, you see whether it belongs to its principal branch or not. It's already I have taken. This is the range in case of cos. That is why see whether it is correct or not. See that one? Minus, it belongs to this one. Because pi by 3. 60 degree. 60 degree. 60 into 2, 120. 60, sorry, it will not be this one. That will be 0 to pi. A little correction. Its value will be 0 to pi. Not pi by 2. Its value will be 0 to pi. Correction is there. 0 to pi. That is why this thing will be 0 to pi. And you must have to see this value 2 pi by 3 belongs to 0 to pi. This is the range in case of cos. Okay? That is why, my dear student, its value will be this one. And this thing you must have to keep in mind because it will be required. I told you principal value of minus 1 by 2, that is minus 5 by 6. In its value will be cos inverse minus 1 by 2. Its value is 5 by 2. See? Now another value, that is tan inverse 1. Tan inverse 1. Okay, you see. Let me take the third case. Third case also we are going to take. Third case, what is the third case? See. Third case, let tan inverse 1 will be equal to y and tan y will be equal to 1. In case of 1, tell me the angle whose value is 1. Definitely that is 45 degree. Tan 45 degree is 1. Tan pi by 4. Tan pi by 4. Okay? And this thing you see tan pi by 4. And 4 tan pi by 4. Y will be pi by 4 is 45 degree. Pi by 4 belongs to. And in case of tan, the same value is there, which is 4 sine. It is easy to remember. You see, pi by 4 lies in this interval. Yes, it lies. It is putting 45 degree and it is minus 90 to 90. That is why this value is correct. My dear student, so many times I have explained that you must have to keep in mind, first to remember the definition, then formula, and then after you solve simple questions. We have solved the simple questions related with the formula. And after that you go to difficult question. Simple already you solve, then you can find out the solution of the difficult question. Let me take a little difficult question, which not only once, many times this question has come in the examination. I am taking that question, and dear student, it is given in your NCERT. It is given that you must have to see, find the value of, let me remove this one also. As I told you, the value is 5 by 4 because we will use it. Question from your NCERT to find the value of sin inverse minus 1 by 2. Many times this question asked in the CBSE examination. Minus 1 by 2 plus tan inverse 1. This question several times asked in the examination. And already I told you that, you see, already we discussed this value and this value also and this one. All three values already we discussed. What the value we got this one? For sin inverse minus 1 by 2, that is minus 5. And the value of cos inverse, that is plus 2 pi by 6. And after that, next value for this one tan inverse, that is pi by 2. Okay, you try to get it, that is pi by 3. Clearly. Its LCM is, I think, 12. 12 is the LCM. You see, 12 divided by 6, 2 minus 2 pi, plus 12 divided by 3, 4, 8 pi. And next you see, 12 divided by 4, that is 3 pi. Okay, you must have to see 6 plus 3, 9 pi by 12. 9 pi by 12, if you want to change it into simplest form, you can change 3 pi by 4. Its value will be 3 pi by 4. As I told you, we solve the simple question, then we try to find out the solution of a difficult question. Difficult we break into the simple, you can find out the solution of the difficult question. My dear student, one more question I am going to take from your NCERT. The similar kind of question which many times asked in the examination, and generally the student commit the mistake, because as you have learned in class 11, what the things you have learned in class 11? Sin inverse sin theta is equal to theta, but not always. That I have discussed just now. If it will lie, theta lies in the principal value in that branch, then only it will be correct, otherwise no. But generally, you see, sin inverse sin pi by 2, it will be equal to 1. Or you can take pi by 2. Pi by 4, it is pi by 2. But not always. Let me take such question over here. You see, find the value, question, find the value of cos inverse, cos 13 pi by 6. Generally the question, this question asked in the CBSE question papers, and student what they do, the sin inverse sin theta is equal to theta. Similarly, cos inverse cos, they will write 13 pi by 6. That is the answer. But it is not the answer. Why it is not the answer? You see, 13 pi by 6, it does not lie in the interval 0 to pi. That is why you see, you must have to bracket cos inverse cos. See how you can write 13 pi, you divide 13 by 2 pi plus pi by 6. You see, you take itself here, 12, 13 pi by 6. And one thing you must have to keep in mind, as I told you just before, this is first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and this is fourth quadrant. In first quadrant, all are positive. All positive. All trigonometric ratios are positive. Here, sine and cosine are positive. Positive. Here, tan and cot. Tan, cot, positive. And here, cos, sec, positive. Cos and sec positive. All other are positive. You see in which quadrant it will lie? You see, you start from 0 to pi, 270, 360. 360 plus theta. 2 pi means 360 plus theta. It will lie in the first quadrant. In first quadrant, all the trigonometrical ratios are positive. And in 360 plus theta, the trigonometrical symbol will not be changed. Like in the first quadrant, sin theta will be changed into cos theta. But here, cos theta will be changed. See over here, cos inverse cos pi by 6. And this thing lies in first quadrant. If you want to write, you can write. It will be equal to pi by 6. Pi by 6. And pi by 6, it lies, pi by 6 means, what thing? 30 degree. And 30 degree line, see, it lies over here. That is why it belongs to that one, that is its value, otherwise it will not. This will not be the value. Pi by 6 is the value. That is why there should not be any confusion. I think all the confusions I have removed by taking this question. So many questions are given in the sample papers, and you must practice such questions. You must have to write, let me write in the note so that there will not be confusion. 2 pi plus theta lies in first quadrant. First quadrant. And automatically you will understand. Okay? Thank you to all of you. My dear student, you like my videos and subscribe so that I shall be motivated. Thank you to all of you.